Must make video, can't stop reading. Must make video, can't stop reading. Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Rebbelreb book club. So I'm finally here again, talking about this book. Let's give you a quick lowdown of why it is that I haven't spoken to you in such a long time. There came a point where I lost my camera for about a week and a half, and I was fearful that I'd lost it for good, and I got really upset. And then I found it, and once I'd found the camera, I realised that I'd lost the book. So I'd gotten to about chapter 7 or 8, and this was after I'd come to the decision that I wanted to talk about the next 5 chapters of the book, and then do the other 10 chapters of the book to 5-chapter slots. So basically, in 4 videos, we've talked about the whole book in 5-chapter chunks. Obviously, that didn't happen because I lost the book, and it was only just before I flew out for my holiday a week and a half ago that I bought a new copy of the book. So I basically, it's been over a month now, I think, when I haven't made a video full stop, and especially not talked about the book that we are reading together. So hopefully, if you're watching this, you haven't finished the book yet, and you've only read up to maybe chapter 10, because that's what I'm going to talk about now. If you're new to the book club, the video where I talk about chapters 1 to 5 will fill you in on where we've got to so far, and this video will take you up to chapter 10. Next video, which hopefully will be next week, we'll be talking about chapters 11 to 15, and then finally we'll talk about chapters 16 to 20. Okay, so let's just give a basic plot synopsis. Geographically, we haven't actually moved very far. Colin is still in Gutshot, and he's met Lindsay Lee. They've gotten on quite clearly, and they've ended up going to Lindsay Lee's mother's house, which is bright pink, massive mansion, something that you could only imagine, say, I don't know, the hairdresser woman from Legally Blonde owning, if she got really rich. Yeah, so they're in this house, and Hollis, who is Lindsay's mother, offers them a job. She gives them the opportunity to earn $100 American a day for basically going around the town of Gutshot and asking this questionnaire, which starts out being like, just let the person talk for however long they want on their experience of life in Gutshot, but that goes on very, very, very long time with the first guy that they interview. So she cuts it down to a series of I think about 4 questions. So we're now following Colin as he goes around asking this questionnaire to people in Gutshot. All the time he's still working on his theorem, which was what the eureka moment was at the end of chapter 5. So Colin's theory is that you can predict the outcome of any relationship based on a mathematical formula. And as we progress through these 5 chapters, he's not really getting on too well with that particular task, and at the end of chapter 10 he's left the formula with Lindsay, who says, yeah, I just want to read it for a bit and then I'll help you destroy it, because he was pretty much set on burning it because he didn't think he could make it work. So that's where we are at the end of the chapter. Now, to me, we're getting to know Lindsay better, we're getting to know Colin better, and you can feel a kind of romantic tension building between the two of them. Even though Lindsay has a boyfriend, it feels to me like they're building up to some kind of emotional moment between the two of them. And all the way through, we've been having these flashbacks still to previous Katherines and moments during their relationships, whether it be the starts of the relationships or the breakups. So all the time, Colin is still stuck in this cycle of remembering Katherines and how they have an effect on him. I mean, when I read, I start to formulate my own hypothesis as to how the book is going to carry on. So I'm not going to give anything away about my predictions, but I'm sure in the comments we could discuss what you guys think might happen next. All in all, I'm really enjoying this book. I'm not feeling like Hassan has really come into his own, given too much to the story. He seems like he's just there when Colin needs him to be there to kind of fall back on. And I feel like he needs to have a bit more of a role to play. There's a lovely couple of just really comedy bits in the book where the characters will talk to each other in different languages, and there's an interchange between Hassan and Colin when they're speaking in French to try and trick Lindsay's friends into believing that they're like foreign exchange students or something. That really amused me. And then there's a bit later on where Lindsay and Colin are speaking to each other in German, and Lindsay just kind of throws the one-liner after the end of the conversation. Yeah, well, okay, we've both established that we can speak German. It's I think interesting for Colin to find someone who is pretty much his intellectual equal in terms of how he understands intelligent things in the world. Obviously, no one can quite match his skill at anagramming. They play a game of Scrabble, and the final scores of the game are Hollis 158, Lindsay 293, Hassan 0 because he refused to play Scrabble against Colin, who scored 521. So more than the combined score of any of the other players. It's just amusing that I've been kind of waiting for some way for Colin to make his little skill in anagrams really useful, and I think Scrabble is probably the most useful thing you can do with anagrams, really. So yeah, again, I'm really warming to the character of Colin, getting used to him as a person and feeling the connections between him and myself, and I really can't wait to find out what's going to happen in the next few chapters, because I believe that it's going to get a little bit more emotionally tense. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below with your comments on the book so far, and hopefully I shall see you next week talking about chapters 11 to 15. Bye.